everybody, and welcome back. Today I thought of a very fun pageant related video idea where I compare my two international pageant experiences that I've had in a few different areas, just to give you some insight on the experiences that I went through and maybe some things to expect, some things to look out for, and again just to see the difference between the two, to show you that there are so many different international pageants in the world. They're all structured differently. They all have their own pros and cons. And again, just to let you know a little bit about my experience, what I thought, and yeah, have some fun and talk more pageant related beauty queen things. So without further ado, let's jump right in. To start off, I'm going to mention that the two pageants I'm speaking about are the Face of Beauty International Pageant, which I just competed at this last November in the Philippines, and then also the Miss Continents pageant. I competed in 2018. It was June of 2018 in Las Vegas. So where to begin? First of all, I had a great time. I represented Canada at both of these competitions through the Miss Canada organization, and I wouldn't say I liked one more than the other, but there were definitely big differences that, came to the competition and the way that I experienced the pageants in different ways. So for both of the pageants, I placed in Miss Continents, I placed in the top 3, and for Face of Beauty, I placed in the top 20. However, there were 5 teens in the top 20, so I placed top 15 in my division. So woo, awesome. Again, I'll kind of allude to different things that occurred during the week that may or may not have contributed to my scores in these pageants. First thing that I want to talk about is cost of both pageants and just the different things that were included in the cost. Both pageants were a week long. The Face of Beauty pageant, was about maybe like 8 or 9 days long, and I'm in Canada, so I went a little bit earlier. But the Miss Continents pageant was a full week long. Again, I arrived a day early. They both cost $1,000 US, which translate to about $1,200 to $1,300 Canadian. And none of this was covered by my organization. It was all from me, from my sponsors, and from fundraising that I was able to do. Now, both were pretty similar in what you got. That typically covers your hotel for the week. It covers your entrance to any events that you would go to. Your meals are all covered. Typically you get some sort of little sponsored goodie bags and things like that. So all of those things were covered. What they both did not cover is your transportation to the international location. So for Miss Continents, I had to pay for my flight to Las Vegas, and for Miss Face of Beauty, I had to pay for my flight to the Philippines. Now, as you can imagine, the flight to the Philippines is just a little bit more than the flight to just the States, which is the next country over. So cost-wise, Face of Beauty was definitely more expensive, not only just because of the registration and the flight, but there were a lot of other additional areas of competition that I had to spend money on, or at least that I chose to spend money on, to make sure it was up to par with the way I wanted to present myself. But so far, cost, the entrance fee for both is the same, but again, there were a few more additional costs to competing in the Philippines. Of course, you're going halfway around the world versus going to the next country over. So the next thing that I'm going to discuss about the two different pageants is the week of the competition. So a few things I'm going to break this down to are the week of the competition, the production, the scoring of the competition, and then I think the last thing that I wanted to do is the communication and the overall feel. So to start off, the week of the competition, the differences, and just comparing the two. So Miss Continents, like I said, happened in Las Vegas. And I think that the biggest thing, or the biggest difference between the pageants, is that Miss Continents, we were doing photo shoots and our rehearsals usually in the hotel. It was at South Point Hotel and Casino in Nevada, and that was all. There was nothing planned other than our photo shoots and our rehearsals. Any other free time, which we usually had free time every day, it was up to the girls to plan what they'd want to do. There were no, supervisors to take us anywhere. We did have supervisors, but the rest of the week it was up to us if we wanted to go do something else, go explore, walk down the strip, anything like that. Whereas the Miss Face of Beauty competition week, it was planned day to night. We'd go to a sponsored breakfast usually, or have breakfast at the hotel, go to an event, do an appearance, have an element of competition, do a photo shoot somewhere, have, again, a sponsored lunch somewhere, sponsored dinner. Like, we were always on the go, out and about, also while doing the competition, the photo shoots, and the rehearsals as well. So those are the two different things. In all honesty, I didn't mind either. Staying at the hotel allowed me to bond with the contestants a lot more, because we would all, the girls who kind of would communicate better or just like became closer friends were the girls that all went out and did things with each other. So I was really close with the girls from Australia and the United States and a few other places. There was a handful of us that would go explore the strip. We would all hang out in each other's rooms. I was really close with my roommate from the South Pacific, Natasha, miss you so much. So I really didn't have an issue that it was on me and the girls to go out, especially because we know the native language, been familiar with Las Vegas. It was my first time there. I didn't mind going out and exploring and not having it, you know, organized by the pageant or by the director. Plus, there were so many restaurants in the casino. We kind of had free range where we could go. That was also really nice and convenient. And for Face of Beauty, I really liked exploring the Philippines in a very organized way. Obviously, they did not want us to have a lot of free time, because we're in a foreign country where we might not know the native language or the people. It could be very unsafe if we were to travel by ourselves. And they have the ability in the Philippines to have so many sponsors. So it allowed me to see both popular things in the Philippines and maybe some things that I wouldn't have seen. Like, we went to this aviation school and got to fly a flight simulator. So just different aspects of each thing. But again, throwing that into the cost, it's like maybe for Face of Beauty, you got a lot more for the amount that you paid versus Miss Continents at the same, you know, entrance fee. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about, and actually I should probably mention before, is that the amount of contestants. So for the Miss Continents pageant, there was a teen, a miss, and a Mrs. component, and altogether there were about 40 of us. And then with Face of Beauty, there was a teen and a miss, and again, there was about 40 girls there too. And you're all together in both scenarios. You know, some of them are your roommates, you're doing rehearsals with them, going out to meals with them. So with Face of Beauty, we had about 35 Miss contestants. For Miss Continents, we only had, I think it was 11 Miss contestants. So just to show you the different scale of the two pageants and where the girls came from and how many, what the participation was like. That's just, it's not a factor. I'm just describing both of them, that's all. Now, looking at the scoring of the competition. For Miss Continents, I felt like it made sense. It was very typical pageant. It was interview, evening gown, your swimsuit, your participation during the week, and your attitude and, you know, your positivity throughout the week. It made sense. It was like, if you do well in these, you win. Miss Face of Beauty, I didn't quite get it all. I thought that we would have some sort of formal orientation that would go over the scoring in detail, or like the percentages of things. That didn't happen, and I wish I would have asked beforehand to see some sort of scoring or to just have an idea, because in all honesty, the outcome just did not make sense. And I can only justify it being based on scoring, because that's how they pick their title holders. And yes, they did have national costume, evening gown, swimsuit, interview, but we had several other things, like talent was required. We had a fundraising component that was required. We had a video that we had to do. I can't even remember everything else. Oh, we had these workshops that we were required to do. We were put into groups, and we had a workshop based on the organization or the platform of that choice for that year. And we had, that was scored, and we were judged on that. So there were so many different moving parts to it that I don't even really know what weighted what or what they were looking for in each thing. Like, I had a pretty good idea, but when it came to the overall placement of some of the contestants, it just didn't make sense. It was just kind of confusing, and even if I saw the scoring, I think I would be confused. Like, I guess the best way to say it is that for Miss Continents, I knew what I had to do to win. If I would have had a better walk, if I might have improved my interview a little bit, I would have won. Like, that A plus B equals C. Practice plus skill plus performance equals crown. So I like having a little bit more of a clear set scoring system for each element of competition, because like I said, it just kind of felt a little bit gray and confused. I'm not upset about it. It is what it is. I'm happy I placed either way, but had I maybe had some of those details, I would have done maybe just a little bit better. Who knows? So next, moving on to the production of the final show. So like I said, for Miss Continents, the production was really well done at South Point Hotel and Casino. So we were at the hotel that we were staying at. That's where the show was. And I've seen Miss Nevada USA have their national or their state pageants there. The production went really well. We had choreographers that we'd work with. We had some pretty impressive American state title holders, or I should say USA state title holders, that were there with us throughout the week. And we had a couple choreographed dances. On the stage was really nice. The photographers were very professional and very well done in that aspect. Everything about it made sense. Again, like it was a very typical pageant-based production, with the MCs, with entertainment, with scoring, with judges. Pretty much what could be expected. We got a video out of it. We did get photos out of it. I really don't have any complaints on that end that I can think of right now, but it was just really convenient that the hotel was at the venue of the pageant. And now for Face of Beauty, the production, very well done. Now we're in the Philippines. They have so many sponsors for pageants over there. We were actually photographed by these same photographers that Bini Filipinas has for their pageant as well. So that is like we pretty much got to work with the best photographers in the Philippines, which is so unreal to think about. And to meet them, you wouldn't even think that. They're so humble, they're so sweet. The production crew was a blast to hang out with. I probably had more fun communicating with them than any other like local or any other additional part to that pageant. They were just a hoot and a blast. And then of course the final production was live streamed online. Lighting was good. We had a really well-known choreographer there choreographing our dance. He was phenomenal. And yeah, I don't really have any critiques for each of those. They both went really well, in my opinion, really smoothly. Again, I'm kind of just used to going through the motions of production and pageant and just listening and being present and knowing that sometimes not everything is going to go as smoothly as possible, but in the end, it's going to work out. So I was totally okay with that. Production for both of them, it was good for me. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, which I didn't really know what to title it, so I just kind of put it into this word, was communication. But some of the other words I wanted to use to describe it were stress. Communication is really just the best word, but like stress, quality, you know, kindness, those types of words, just like the quality of the effort and the relationship with the organization. Now, for Miss Continents, the director is Gaspar Cruz. He is a very well-known gown designer in the States. I think he lives in Texas. He was very clear that he did not want to spend a lot of time with the girls because he did not want his own personal bias put on the competition. So it can be very easy to have bias, even when you're not aware of it. You don't control it, but when you spend time with people, you like more people, and then it automatically happens. So he was very clear that, unfortunately, as much as he wants to see the girls, that was not his place. His place was to be a director, make sure everything was running smoothly and that people were on time, sponsors were doing their roles, and different things like that. I did not have a breakdown once during Miss Continents, and let me explain, because during Miss Canada I broke down, during Miss Face of Beauty I had a full breakdown, like full mental, emotional breakdown. Miss Continents, I felt so good, I felt so clear, so happy. My roommate and I got along so well, the girls and I got along so well. It was just very low stress, it was very enjoyable. I just didn't have any issues with anything. Like, I had a really good time. Anytime I had a question, I was able to ask someone and they were able to get me an answer. Again, like, there wasn't as much riding on this competition, but it was still a very low stress, good, healthy environment. I'm sure there were other people who would disagree, but this is just my experience. And it also helped that my team, my Canadian team, was my friend Steph. Hey Steph, shout out to you, love you so much. She was with me too, so if I ever had any issues, she was there for me, and that really helped as well. But as far as communication, stress, quality of life, quality of life, just quality of the air and the friendliness of the competition. Miss Continents, loved it, awesome job, gas bar. It was really, really great for the experience I had that year. Now, for Miss Face of Beauty, I can say it was just a little bit different. Now, I'm someone who prides themselves on good communication. I am someone who prides myself on control. Like, if you think of me, the two words that probably come to mind are communication and control. I felt like I lost both at Face of Beauty, and it was a very stressful week. And I did not only have one breakdown, I had multiple breakdowns. Now, let me tell you, I am somebody with a very strong backbone. I'm an emotional person, but I don't cry easy, and I definitely let stress get the best of me. And that is not only on like the organization, it's on me too, and the way that I respond to things and the way that I handle things as well. But I just felt like I was just thrown to the wolves at some points. Like, I just felt like I truly had no control over what was going on. I had some extremely just unfortunate things occur that I can't go back and change, and like there was nothing I pretty much could have done to change these scenarios. It was just miscommunication, some bias. Again, this is nothing against the organization. The owner, Mila Manuel, very sweet. She was with us a lot of the time, but again, I just think overall when comparing the two, and just the experiences that I had, the way that the communication went, Miss Continents definitely took the prize there. And I know it wasn't just me that felt that way. I don't want to get into too many nitty-gritty details. I guess if that's something that you're wondering about, I could make a video about that, but truly it impacted my score. It impacted my performance. It impacted my mental health, my quality, my stress. That whole entire week was shot. And it totally sucks, because when you're preparing for something for an entire year, for Miss Continents, I prepared for a couple of months. Miss Face of Beauty, I prepared for an entire year, and to feel like it slipped through my fingers due to things that I had no control over, and just really unfortunate circumstances and misunderstandings that were just always left in the background that I wasn't even aware of. It sucked. It sucked. It felt like at the time a waste of time. I know it's not a waste of time. I know I still had a good time, and there were so many good things about it, but man, there were just some difficult things that occurred, and it taught me so much. And again, like I said, I don't even really know, looking back, like if I could have done anything differently. Number one thing that I should have done is I should have done more self-care. That's all. I wish I would have meditated more during the week. I wish I would have taken more moments to breathe in silence with myself, to again maintain that emotional clarity and that mental stability that I know I perform so much better with. So when I wasn't doing these things, when I lost that, when things were said or things would occur, it just broke me down, and I was not emotionally with it after that point. I still think like I'm happy with my performance. That's not what I'm talking about whatsoever. There were just some things that, you don't see, and they occur, and that happened. I'm still so glad that I went. But again, in that area, I fell flat short. That's all. Now, I think that's kind of it. Those are like the main, I think I had like 5 topics there that I wanted to talk about and compare and contrast for both pageants. Would I do each pageant again? Now, I'll say for Face of Beauty, I don't think you can compete again. I think you can only represent your country one time. So I don't even think I have a choice in that. If I were to go back, I don't know. I would love to. It was a really great experience. 100% if you get the chance to go do it. But I just don't know if I'd be able to go back after my experience, that's all. Miss Continents, I would love, love, love to go back. Maybe I will one day, maybe as a Miss, maybe as a Mrs. My goals are just not aligned with that one right now. I have other things that I'd like to accomplish. I still chat with Gaspar. He would still love me to go compete again. Maybe one day, if you're interested in representing your country, I will leave his contact information down below, because again, I think for a first-time international pageant or for a more local international pageant in North America, I would recommend his 100%. Nothing wrong in any aspect, and you get a really cool prize package as well. Maybe that's something I should describe. The prize packages. I didn't win either, so I don't really remember what they are. But overall, you get a sash, a crown. What's more than that? That's all you need. And yeah, that is pretty much it. That is my experience at both pageants, comparing and contrasting the two. Hopefully I'll get to represent Canada on another international stage. I don't know when. If it's in the cards for me, it will happen. I know that, but I am just going to continue reliving those experiences and chatting with the girls that I got to meet at both of those. And there's more up my sleeve. I'll let you know. You'll be the first to know. Or maybe second to know, because maybe I already have some stuff up my sleeve. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, like it, and subscribe down below because it really helps this channel. I'm going to be making videos every 1 or 2 weeks just to be able to give you more content on how to achieve your pageant and personal goals and how to create your ideal life. That is, like I always say, that is all, folks, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!